All right. Just send out these messages real quick. All right, everybody. What's going on? This is Master Pyro tapping in on Levels of Mastery here on live IMC TV. I'm going to send this link out to some people real quick, and then we're going to get started. So give me 1 second. Let's see. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today? How y'all doing? So let's go ahead and give a quick little update. I'm Master Pyro, your host for today on Levels of Mastery. I'm right now, as you can see, I'm in a different background. It's like I'm always in a different background. Hold on a second. All right, I'm in a different background. I have this on because I was just doing some work outside here in Puerto Rico. All right, I'm right here in Puerto Rico. This is the house that it all started for me. So it's always a beautiful thing to revisit, places that you originally started from. And that's kind of what I might zero on a little bit today on. I'm going to zero in on that a little bit today because I've had a lot of realizations just being here, just remembering, this is it's my dad's house here in Puerto Rico. And I remember being in that room over there in college and in the military and, thinking creatively, how am I going to live my life that I truly, how I want to live my life, And it's very nostalgic, right? But it's more than just having that nostalgia happening. It's more of like, it's like breathing new life, if you will. So I highly encourage anybody that's listening to this video, this message, if you live in the same town, if you live in the same town you always lived in, or you don't live in the same town you live in, I suggest that you take time to just go through the same streets you used to travel, go through the same, if you have the same home or be in the same neighborhood, and it's not that you're living back where you used to be, but it's like this, it's like a checkpoint, if you will, in your life that is like, damn, I remember walking through here, dreaming or thinking about doing things that I'm now doing, or I'm close to doing, or I'm on the way of doing. And that gives you a certain level of not only confidence, but like confirmation of like, damn, bro, like I'm really doing it, And I was having a conversation with my dad this morning, and I'm like, it's just amazing that, you have to learn when you grind so hard and you work so hard on what you're working on, you got to learn how to balance yourself and learn how to have a good time. You cannot forget. And it's not even about having a good time, but you got to learn how to enjoy life, right? That's what we talk about when we see kids, right? When we see kids, that's the part that we, every time we see a child or a baby, we take that little moment and we look at that essence of innocence and freedom of expression and willingness to just, be in the moment and just and enjoying life. Because in that moment, they're just enjoying life. Like they're not thinking of any other thing that we think as adults, And, that's something that has waken up in me a lot more being here. It's like, man, like, how much time are we really taking to enjoy life? Like, how much time are we taking to say, you know what? I want to do this. Let me go for it. Like anything it doesn't have that flavor in life, I don't know what else we're doing, So I'm gonna go live for about 20 minutes. Normally I try to go on for an hour, 45 minutes or so. Today I'm gonna go on for 20 minutes because I've been working in the sun in Puerto Rico. And it's hot, and I got to get back out there and finish before the sun goes down. Tomorrow is gonna rain. So yesterday, I just want to share a little bit of my experience that I had since I've been here. I've been here for about this is my second day being here. Yesterday I went on the jet ski. We have a jet ski here. I guess I could show you guys that. Let me show you guys real quick. All right, this is Puerto Rico. I'm gonna take a little second and show you guys. I'm on my laptop. Let me show you. This is I was on this jet ski here yesterday. We were running around in that. All right, cars right here, Jeep, and then this is the neighborhood out here in Puerto Rico. All right, this is how it looks like. So I just want to show you guys that so you guys can have an understanding of what I'm talking about, the vibe and things of that nature. And yesterday, I took time out there to go with my dad and go jet ski. And that's something I grew up doing. I grew up doing jet ski. That's something that I always loved doing. And when I found myself on the jet ski yesterday, man, I was like, man, I forgot how this feeling felt like. And it's not just about the jet ski. I don't want to. So let me just clear this up. It's not about these activities. I'm talking about the flavor of life that's happening in these moments. And for me, it might be a jet ski. For somebody else, it might be riding down a certain street, or it could be, talking to a certain person or doing a certain activity. Maybe it's basketball, maybe it's drawing, maybe it's research, maybe it's a certain movie, if you will, right? There's different elements of this, what I'm talking about, because what I'm speaking about is like awakening a certain energy or spirit inside of you that we've, to a degree, suppressed because we became an adult, and it's all about making money, making the bills, right? All this other shit that just distracts you from the present moment. It distracts you from, extracting the true essence of life, which is enjoyment, right? Something we learned from Maharishi is that our natural state is bliss, being in bliss. That's our natural state. So being in that positive, and it's not even about being positive, it's just being in that state of flow is our natural state. So anytime we're not in that state, we've taken ourselves out of alignment by filling our mind with some other shit. So that's that. And then let me share with you guys what I did today. A couple clips right here. So this is what I did today. Out here putting in some work with my dad. We already finished almost all that already. We got to go out there and finish the rest of it. So that's just to show you guys. So I've been putting in some work, and because this house, I really cherish this house a lot because of how much work it's a lot of work that I've put into it myself, and also the memories I have here. So, what I want to zero in on is that, when we go through these things in life, a lot of time it's stress related. It's things that are like, man, we gotta work on this, we gotta get this done, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no matter how much you work on these things, it's almost like a thing that never ends. It's like there's always the next thing to work on. There's always the next bill to pay. It's always the next thing. It's like this cycle that they've set up to keep us in this loop. So what I want to encourage everybody to do is, it don't have to be today. It could just be as soon as possible, really. But I encourage you to take a moment, and this is part of a teaching that I got from my mentor, which is called Communion with Nature, where you got to take time and go into nature. And it's more than just nature. Just take time and go into life and experience it, man. Like, you gotta, I don't say you got to, but one thing I learned how to do is that, like, for example, there's time where I'm just editing, man. I'm editing for hours, man. I'm editing. I'm doing research. I'm doing this. I'm making calls. I'm making text messages. I'm setting up gigs. I'm setting up my flight. Like, just, man, my mind is always consumed with the next thing to do. And one beautiful thing that I've enjoyed about myself that I've been coming to learn is that I learned how to just close everything down and take at least an hour and not even consume your mind with it. Just go out into the beach, go out into the park, go out and do a research, read a book. And you gotta learn how to separate yourself from this life that you strung yourself into that keeps you in this cycle of like stress, if you will. Because it's always, like I just said, it's always about the next bill. It's always about the next thing you got to fulfill. If you're in a relationship, you got to worry about that. You got to worry about all these things that is meant to just consume your mind. And we lose this flavor of of not only freedom, but we lose the favor of like, you know, I want to do this, but we don't want to do it. And when we have that somewhere inside of us, that comes across in our communication. And that's something that's very important, because communication is the key to bridge relationships. Communication is the bridge communication is the key to bridge business, right? All that comes into play. So your communication has to be cleared out. So if you have all these things running in the background, like just for example, you know, when you have a phone, you got all these apps open. And as all that stuff is opening, right, it's consuming energy of your phone or your laptop or your iPad or whatever device that you're using, and you got to close them out. So you're
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, cool. I had to restart real quick. So give me a second so I can connect back to let's see here. I gotta connect back to YouTube. Give me 1 second. Meetings, apps. I don't think that's it. I have to go on my iPad. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Live YouTube. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay. So just to kind of zero back on where we are with that. Man, I don't know if I'm still, I think I'm live. Still live. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure I'm live before I cut it off. Little technical difficulties, you know. 2023 problems. Wi-Fi and shit. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I'm back on live. Cool. All right. So what I'm getting at with all this is that if you're doing something with business, right, business related, or you're trying to get a you're talking to in your workplace, right, or relationships and things of that nature, and you have this thing of like, man, for some reason when I communicate, it's not coming across how it needs to come across, or people are not understanding me the way you need to understand me. These are a lot of symptoms that you can look at of like, where are you in correspondence to yourself in relation to living your life? Are you really living your life to the T that you want to live? Are you really doing what it is that you want to do? And you got to ask yourself that and really figure that out, because these things come across in your communication, whether it's how you talk, your body language, how you approach yourself, how you exit a conversation, how you begin a conversation, how you carry a conversation. All these things come across. And how are you exercising it? For example, this is a big reason why I go live. This is a big reason why I committed myself to go live on this channel. For everybody here that listens to it or watches it after the case, is because I want to keep exercising my communication. I want to keep exercising the ability to talk. And of course, at some point, I want to be able to do, live lectures or seminars, things of that nature, right? But you got to start where you are. A lot of people want to grab an opportunity. They want to go straight to the top. They want to do something and be straight at the best at it. It doesn't work like that. And that's probably one of the biggest problems of this day and age, that everybody just thinks because, they're banking on this going viral thing, right? They're banking on, if I just do this, it's going to blow up. Listen, whether it does or doesn't, you shouldn't limit yourself on the output of your creation, because you're depending on an outsource, a source outside of you. So I encourage everybody to look at that today in the sense of like, what's going, not exactly what's going wrong, but what can I fix in my communication? What are some things that I can address in my communication? And how is that in relation to how I live my life on a day-to-day basis, right? It's one thing to grind hard and to work really hard in what you're doing. It's another thing to not know how to balance yourself in the midst of that. I'm never going to say you shouldn't grind hard or you shouldn't work hard, right? It's not about that. Because we all know how to put in work. And maybe on the other side of the fence, maybe you always know how to have a good time. You don't know how to put in good work. Well, this is where you got to find yourself in the spectrum of things, right? Whatever industry you're in or what industry you want to get into. And it's not something just to just talk about, right? You gotta be a doer of the word, right? The Bible says you gotta be a doer of the word, not a hearer of the word. It's not just about what I'm saying. I'm just saying to yourself. Don't hear yourself say you need to accomplish and do something and not do it, right? You know what it is that you need to do to evolve to your next level of communication or lifestyle and how you want to live. And that's the core essence of what I want to zero in on today, is because, coming back to Puerto Rico is a lot of, for me, right? Whatever space that is for you. For you, it might be a different space. For me, it's here in Puerto Rico because this is a place that I've learned a lot about myself and what I'm willing to go after in life, right? And coming back to that space, it reawakens something in you because you remember that energy and that vibe that you was in. Like, man, it's a risk. It's like jumping to an opportunity that you don't know if you're going to land in it or not. But this is the thing, though. A lot of that is just concepts and ideas that somebody else has passed down to us that we don't think we're going to make it. Because whatever it is that you want to do in this life, there's somebody doing it and living off of it, making tremendous money. And the more beautiful thing about it is that you don't even know who they are. You have no concept of who they are. But if you do enough research, you'll find it. And that's something that I always saw for myself. Like, man, there's so many millionaires. There's so many people that make 100K a month or 100K a year, or whatever the case may be. And I don't even know who the hell they are. But for some reason, especially in this day and age of social media, we feel like people have to know who we are for us to make that kind of money. For some reason, we think we gotta be able to be that popular or have some kind of popularity to make that some kind of money. And that's where a lot of people get off on the wrong way, because they're more worried about being popular. They're more worried about being known for the thing that they're doing instead of making the money or making. And I don't want to drive it all about money. Of course, money is a huge thing in the game. But when you do it for the reason of this makes me happy, this makes me more connected to life,
You got to start. You got for me. Let me speak for myself. When I say that, it's like I'm speaking to myself. But you have to start to establish communication lines with yourself and to things that are in correspondence to what you want to do in life, whatever that thing may be, and it could change, right? Last year you could be wanting to do, music. Next year it could be I want to start my own business. Next year it could be about I want to have a house or whatever it is that you may be. I want to go after this. Like you got to have that freedom to change your mind, right? But now don't change your mind from a place of weakness. Change your mind from a place of strength and confidence, right? What's right for you 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it might not stand as good as it is for you today. And you have to reassess yourself. This is where reassessment comes into play, right? So with all those things that, you might be inspired to do, or things that might inspire you to accomplish, the next question comes into play. And we'll leave it as this final question and something that you can think about until next week is, what are you willing to do for it? What price are you willing to pay for it? Because, you can't be fooled about everybody else and what they have, because you don't know the price they paid for those things. If they're acting like they're happy, they put up the front, they're happy. You don't know the price they paid to have that happiness that they claim that they have. You see somebody with a certain house that you want. You see somebody with a car that you want. You see somebody with the equipment you need. You see people with the things that you said you may want. You cannot be attached to that, because then you don't know the price that they paid for that. And you have to ask yourself, what price am I willing to pay to get that? Am I willing to pay 2 years, a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, whatever it may be? That's where you start building longevity. That's where you start building endurance in your goals and your dreams and what you want to accomplish. And I'm only speaking from experience, because becoming a director, becoming a filmmaker, where when I show up, everybody's expecting me to do and have a plan in what I'm doing. So there's a certain level of discipline that I have to have within myself to be able to establish that, right? It's a certain state of mind that I got to have when I walk in, right? Because they're paying me for that. And how I communicate on set, how I direct people on set, how I tell them, hey, you need to move here and do this, do that. All that comes from a level of communication and firmness and confidence that I have to be able to, be booked and dictate my pay on how much somebody should pay me to do these things. All right. Before I close it out, is there any questions or any insights or anything that I've said and maybe don't even make sense? Feel free to talk about it. Let's have 5 minutes to expand on it. If not, I'll go ahead and close it out. Give me 1 second while I look at this. Okay. Hopefully the message was clear on this live. What I really want to highlight out of everything we talked about today, I want to highlight you have to be willing to pay the price for what you see fit in your life. Everything has a price. Nothing is for free. And don't think about it in a sense of monetary, because almost anything could be bought. But I'm talking about the input of energy. Like, man, every time you pick up your phone and you do research, or your iPad or your computer, whatever you do research on, that's invested energy. That is an investment. So are you willing to pay that price to invest in your knowledge, right? I was talking to somebody in LA. He's like a producer, big producer, Los Angeles. And, I was admiring a little bit of his work, and he was telling me a lot of his time and his work goes into research. And, I like to do research too. Anything that I'm intrigued about, I love to do research. But there's that time when you you've been researching for 4 or 5 days and for 2 hours a day, whatever the case may be, and you're like, man, I don't want to do no more research. You feel like you're wasting time. But a lot of that comes from a state of mind that somebody else gave you, in the sense of like telling you got to keep on running, but you got to understand it takes research and knowledge to make the right decisions as you're going forward. Because if you're always making your decisions blindly, you're only gonna go so far, right? Being able to be innovative, right, create on the spot is essential, but you can't fully rely on that because it's not enough to stand on a consistent basis. It's only there, improvising is only there for the moment. And this is the main takeaway that I want everybody to see, because me, coming back here to Puerto Rico, I've seen a lot of like, man, there was a lot that I've been willing to pay the price for in my time that I've received because of the commitment that I had within myself and following it through. All right, following it through. And I want to expand on that more next week because this is something that I see as a missing link in a lot of people and what they're trying to go after. Right? It's like they're always expecting something to just fall out the sky without putting in the work. I don't believe in that. I just believe that if I just stay down and I work hard enough, the opportunity is going to present itself. Right? Because it's the energy thing. It's the thing of what you put out will come in. So recommit yourself to your task and your process for yourself, right? Your morning process, whatever it may be, how you live day to day. And I encourage you to take a moment and rest, right? Take a moment and see for yourself what you need to relax more on. Take a moment for yourself and disconnect yourself from your day-to-day habits, right? Going to work, eat, meet up with this person, go home, sleep, wake up, do it all over again. Not saying you shouldn't have a routine. You should definitely have a routine, but you shouldn't be a slave to your routine. And that's what's important. Don't become a slave to anything in life, even your money, even your resources, even your family, even your friends, even your spouse or your girlfriend, right? Don't become a slave to it because of the understanding of I gotta take care of this. Yes, you 100% gotta take care of it, but don't become a slave to it where you lose yourself in those things, right? A man stands on his own. A man stands on what it takes to move life forward productively, positively, and whatever is in best favors for everybody involved. And a lot of that comes from an understanding of knowing personal investment. Because if you're not personally investing in yourself, it's hard to register that in somebody else. And you can see how far off they are in reality because they don't know how to invest time in themselves to rest or to see things on a different perspective. Right? They become slaves to their perspective of life. So I encourage you to reinitiate your research, whatever that thing may be. You could be researching different things, right? Right now, my research is in marketing, directing, how to shoot a short film. And the main thing right now is marketing. That's like the main research thing right now is marketing. But I can't become a slave to marketing because I started seeing, I want to sit here all day and read and do this, do that. And then it's like, man, like one thing I learned here in Puerto Rico is like, man, there's a beach 5-10 minutes from here, right? What is it for me to close my laptop or put my phone down for 30 minutes to 45 minutes and take a 5-minute drive to the beach and disconnect? And if maybe for you, it's not the beach because, you don't live somewhere where there's water. Maybe there's a park, right? Maybe it's a certain coffee shop. Maybe it's a studio space. Maybe it's a lobby. It's a place that nobody is like, yeah, who's important knows where you are, but the world don't know where you are because they don't need to know, right? They don't need to know. They need to know what it is that it's available for them to know as you live your life. But it's not your responsibility to convince these people that you're on your shit and you're taking care of what you got to take care of. It's just not part of it. All right. I appreciate everybody that's joined live today. It's a short session because, man, I got some work I got to get back to. And, I look forward to next week, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Potentially, I might be either in Vegas
or in Phoenix when I get back on Tuesday, or I'll get back on Sunday. I might be in Vegas because I have an event in Vegas. But it's always something new, right? And this is, if you look at my Instagram, or if you look at anything that I've been able to accomplish in life, these are the things that I'm working on to be able to experience that reality. Because I work around a lot of models, right? And we all know models or women are emotional creatures, so they sense things a lot, right? So if you're trying to lead them, right? If you're trying to lead them in the interaction or their experience, and you have all these things cluttered in your mind about finances and relationships and this problem and that problem, to some degree is being communicated in your body language or in how you're speaking. And this is how women either view you as alpha, beta, or somebody I don't know what the hell he's talking about, somebody that's trying to finesse me or whatever the case may be, or acting like, so it's not about acting like you know what you're saying. It's about just know what you're saying by researching it, by committing to the price that it takes for you to become that final version of yourself, right? Like for me, I'm doing video production, but my final phase of this is doing short films or doing big projects, being on big sets. Right? Man, I would love to do that. But how am I going to get there if I'm here being caught up on day-to-day life? It's so easy. It's so easy to get caught up on it. So we'll zero in on that next week. I appreciate everybody for tapping in with me today. This is Master Pyro tapping in on Levels of Mastery. Follow my Instagram. It's called Master_Pyro with a 0, or the Levels of Mastery Instagram. That's called at the @ Levels of Mastery. And then I got the Telegram group. It's a brand new Telegram group. So if you're in my old Telegram group, you got 24 hours to join the new group. It's in that group. I gotta get away of that old group because a lot of people in there that's not interacting or giving value to the group. They're just taking from the group, and I don't believe in that, right? Because any group that I'm in, I give value in. So I believe anybody that's in the group that I'm establishing, you must give some kind of value, whether that's just showing up, or responding to messages or whatever. It got to be some kind of interaction. You just can't be in there and not respond to anything, and that's kind of where it's been. And I'm reestablishing a community, right? It's a community. This is a community of space where everybody can focus on what's the next level of their mastery, man. Like you're on a path to unlocking your potential. Everything that we're doing it to be happy, to get the next level of life, whether it's finances or relationships and all that. But that's why I opened this group, because we have to become somebody like me that is always in that process. It helps spark those around me to start seeking within themselves. Like, man, I could do better. I could do more. I'm doing too much. I need to be more relaxed. I need to be more restful. I need to practice. Like, what is your practice? You should have a weekly practice. You should have a daily practice, right? And all these things turn into a monthly, a yearly, whatever case to be. You start seeing that all this is the same structure, but you got to be consistent, right? And let me leave you with this. How relaxed were you today? Right? How focused were you today and what you had to get done? And if you look back and you see, like, man, it was this that came up in my mind. It was this person that came up in the conversation or whatever it is. You gotta be able to analyze that. So the next time it comes about, you can take care of what you gotta take care of. All right. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and log off. See you guys on the next one. Remember, join my new Levels of Mastery Inner Circle group. It's on Telegram, 24 hours. After 24 hours, starting tomorrow, it will be shut down. All right. Peace and love. Os.